If you clicked on this video, then you are probably undercharging for your work. And I know this because most creatives, whether you're a web designer, copywriter, video editor, or coach, they'll price their projects based on deliverables or how many hours it takes them, and have no idea how to actually price their work based on the real value that they bring to clients. And so in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how some people can charge $15,000 for the exact same thing that you struggle to charge even $500 for, and the very practical steps that you can take to change that starting today. So whether you're just starting out and have absolutely no idea how to price your services, or maybe you're even a few years into your business but you're struggling to raise your rates, by the end of this video, you're going to be able to confidently price your work and demonstrate the value that you bring to clients, so you know that you're not leaving any money on the table. And the good news is that you don't need to spend years building up experience before you can start charging what you're truly worth. By implementing the strategies in this video, I was able to go from charging $500 to $5,000 for a website within just 6 months. And so in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to take you through the very practical steps that I took to be able to do this. So first up, I want to address the biggest fear that people have that keeps you undervalued and underpaid for your work. And that's, if I raise my rates, it will be harder for me to find clients. But this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the exact opposite is true. The first thing you really need to understand is that keeping your prices low and undercharging for your work is actually the thing that's making it harder for you to find clients. And this is because the right pricing attracts the right clients. Let me give you an example. Early on in my web design business, I was pitching a website project at $5,000. This felt like a huge amount of money for me at the time. I was so nervous to say it out loud and thought they would reject me on the spot. But when I actually stated my prices, my client didn't even bat an eyelid and just said, "Sounds great." They actually admitted to me at the end of the project that $5,000 felt like a bargain to them because of the scale of their business and the size of projects that they were used to working on. And so it was in that moment that I realized that if I had gone in pitching $500 for this project, that would have given me away as a complete amateur. Based on that price, they would have thought this isn't the scale of project that I'm looking for in order to grow my business. So the price that you set signals the level of expertise that you bring. When you raise your rates, you align yourself with clients who value your work and are willing to pay for it. The important thing to understand is that there are two types of customers. Customer A is the budget customer just looking for the cheapest option. And customer B is the higher budget client looking for a specialist who can deliver results, and they're happy to pay premium rates for that expertise. And so when you price yourself too low, you actually only attract this first type of customer. These are often the people who become nightmare clients. They don't respect your expertise, they question every decision you make, and compare you to cheaper alternatives. But when you actually raise your rates, you start to attract clients who value expertise over price. The higher price signals to the client that you are going to deliver the expertise that they are looking for. But raising your rates isn't just about picking a bigger number and putting this on your website. You actually need to structure your services in a way that justifies the premium price and demonstrates the value and expertise that you bring to clients. And so this is where most people go wrong. What most people don't understand is how to actually increase the value of their services. They think if I just start adding more to this list of deliverables included in my services, this will allow me to charge more. But what you need to understand is that clients are not paying for a list of deliverables. They are not paying you for a website, they are not paying you for a video, they are not paying you for an hour coaching call. When clients hire you, they're paying you for the results and the impact that you deliver for their business. And it's when you understand this and you make the shift from selling deliverables or selling your time to value-based pricing, that's when you can go from charging $500 to $5,000 for the exact same thing. So let me break down step by step how to actually do this. There are 3 levels that you need to move through to go from competing on price to being able to charge a premium for your services. So level 1 is selling deliverables. This is where most people start, and anyone can start here even if you don't have a lot of expertise. If you're completely new to whatever it is you're selling, it doesn't matter. At this stage, you might not be able to charge much money, but there will always be someone willing to pay you for the time that you're saving them. The problem with this though is that you're competing with everyone else out there offering the same thing. If your offer is that you're selling a website, then you're competing with every other person who says that they can do the same. You are completely replaceable, whether that's with AI or a freelancer on Fiverr. As soon as someone comes along and says that they can do the same thing at a cheaper price, they're going to choose that option over you. And so at this stage, you're stuck competing on price, charging the minimum amount for your services. But the ultimate goal is to be able to communicate your value in a way where you don't need to do this. So this is when we move on to level 2, which is selling strategy. The first step to being able to charge more and setting yourself apart from the competition is shifting from selling deliverables to selling strategy, so that people are not just paying you for a website, they're paying you for your skills, knowledge, and experience that you bring to the table. You're not just a web designer, you're a strategic partner who understands their business goals and is there to get them results. And so over time, you want to begin to improve your expertise and start selling your thinking and your strategy. From here, the next level is level 3, selling outcomes. So once you start to improve your expertise and experience, you start to get real results for people. And this is where the magic happens. You are now selling the transformation or the results that your work creates. You're no longer selling a website, you're now selling 100 more leads a month or a client getting machine. At this level, this allows you to charge based on the value that you create for a client. For example, if you're building someone a website that's going to generate them an extra $100,000 a year, then you can charge up to 5 to 10% of this. And so to be able to get to this level here where you're making the most amount of money for your work, you also need to be working with the right clients with a high earning potential, because the more profit you can create for your clients, the more you can charge. So the higher you go on this ladder, the more you can charge for essentially the exact same thing. And so this here is a very real example of how I moved through these phases to actually raise my rates in real life. And so I started over here. The first website project I took on, I charged less than $500. At this point, I was just a freelancer offering everything design related, from logos and print design to websites and everything in between. These were the worst types of clients to work with. They constantly questioned my process. They asked for endless revisions. They would always push back on my prices and compare me to other cheaper options. There was nothing setting me apart. If someone came to me and then they found someone else to do it cheaper, they would probably pick them instead. And so in order to 5 times my rates between this first client and this second one here, there were 3 things that I needed to do. I cut down my services to focus entirely on web design. I created a sales page specifically for this service, and this was the first step in setting myself apart. I also started positioning myself as a strategic web designer and focused on the thinking and strategy behind my work. I learned about sales psychology and storytelling in web design and improved my skills around those to improve the results that I could get clients. So then I started talking about these things in my marketing and in my content to attract clients who valued this level of expertise. And the last thing I did was improve my client experience. So I had a very clear process which allowed me to secure my first client at $2,700. Notice how at this stage, I don't even have any testimonials or results yet. Just by narrowing down my services and focusing on setting the strategy, not just the deliverables, I set myself apart as a specialist and was able to charge more money for the exact same thing. From there, this gave me the confidence to charge even more for the next client. There wasn't hundreds of clients in between these price increases. This was literally my first, second, and third client. I didn't have any tangible results in terms of revenue or money yet, but by stacking all these things together, improving my expertise and the knowledge that I brought to the table, and then elevating my client experience, this allowed me to get a testimonial from my first client who raved about how easy and great it was to work with me. And then this allowed me to confidently raise my rates again and charge $5,700 for the same work I had previously done for $500. The deliverables hadn't changed dramatically, but my positioning and the perceived value had completely transformed. And the best part of all of this was that these clients were so much easier to work with. They respected my expertise and they actually got great results from working with me. And so it's when you stack all of these things together, your results, your testimonials, your expertise and experience, and an elevated client process, this is when you can really move into value-based pricing and are able to charge the most amount of money for your work. The final part of the puzzle is just finding the right clients to pitch to. As I mentioned before, the more profit you can create for your clients, the more you can charge, and this is how value-based pricing works. And so clearly demonstrating the value and the expertise you offer in your sales page in and in your content and showcasing results and testimonials. This is how you attract interest from higher quality clients with higher revenue and higher budgets. The ceiling here when it comes to how much you can charge is only limited by the size of clients that you work with. And so how much should you charge if you're starting from zero over here? If you're just beginning your journey, you might be wondering how to apply this to your own situation. Maybe you clicked on this video hoping to get the exact number that you should be charging right now based on your own situation. Well, the bad news is that pricing is completely subjective and there is no clear-cut answer. A lot of it is just going to come down to picking a starting point and then building your own confidence and growing your testimonials and results so you can increase your prices incrementally over time. But there is one very important rule that I always follow when it comes to pricing. Always deliver 10 times more value than you ask for in return. You want to do absolutely everything to go above and beyond and create the best results for people that you can, because this is what creates testimonials and raving fans that can't help but tell anyone about you. But this is important. While you're focused on delivering 10 times more value than you ask for in return, this does not mean that you should undercharge yourself. I do not think working for free is a good strategy. Going back to the point we made at the beginning of the video, if you price yourself too low, you're only going to attract difficult clients who don't respect your work. You need your client to be as invested in the project as you are, so you want them to at least put some money on the table. You need them to trust you, take your work seriously, so they actually work with you and implement your recommendations and value the work that you deliver. Plus, in my experience, undercharging just leads to resentment and not feeling motivated, which actually prevents you from delivering your best work. And so instead, when you're thinking about how much to charge, as a starting point, just ask yourself, how much do I need to charge to be stoked to deliver this with 1000% effort? And then go from there. This is your minimum starting price, the amount that energizes you to go all in for your customer. At this point, you then want to over deliver on value to get testimonials and results that will allow you to raise your rates for the next person. Each client then becomes a stepping stone to charging more in the future. It's all about delivering the best results and the best client experience possible to blow people away. The way you onboard clients, communicate through the project, and deliver the final result all contribute to how much you can charge. And so if you want to see exactly how I create this elevated client experience, then watch this video here.